What is up, guys? John Collins with Risen Holster Co. Thanks for tuning back in. Today we are starting back into our Making Your Holster series that we started a couple weeks ago. So today we're going to be making one of our Ghost EDC bag holsters for a Springfield Echelon with Streamlight TLR7A. I'm going to pop you over here on the mock-up table and we're going to get started. Hope you enjoy. So like any of our holsters, we start with a mold. So here is our trusty Pale Horse Concealment Solutions split mold. As you can see here, it's for the Echelon with TLR7. TLR7 is for the OG TLR7, TLR7A, TLR7X. They all have the exact same light body. They just have different internals. And the original TLR7 has different switches, but as far as holsters go, that is all the same mold. Now, cool thing with our Ghost holsters is because they are so stripped down to go inside of an EDC bag, we do not have to put any blocking on this. So I'm going to take you straight over to the vacuum press. We're going to get our Kydex heated up and we're going to pull a vacuum on this thing. All right, so this customer selected Flat Dark Earth. Specifically, we carry the Flat Dark Earth Fall. If you're looking at any of this on any of like the holster making distributors out there, like Holster Smith, Holster Builder, Index Thermoplastics, places like that, you'll see two different kinds of Flat Dark Earth. You have Flat Dark Earth Fall and then Flat Dark Earth Spring. Spring has got more of like a greenish hue to it, and the Fall is more of like a true tan FDE. So that's the one that we carry. Kind of seems to match the majority of the other FDE stuff that you see out there. But anyway, we're gonna stick this in the press, get it hot, and pull our vacuum. For anybody that might be curious, I've had a few guys that are getting into holster making. So this is a fancier studio press. Got it off of Amazon, and current heat settings that we keep on this thing, that's going to warm back up, but we keep 372 and for 130 seconds. Now that is going to really change dramatically depending on press to press. They all have heating elements in them and they all kind of differ for each one, so you'll have to find exactly which one fits with what you're pressing. Of course, it's also going to change between pressing regular Kydex versus pressing like carbon fiber Kydex, and then thicker materials need higher temperatures and all that kind of stuff. So you have to kind of mess with whatever you end up doing, but the good baseline that you want to go for is heat the Kydex for roughly 2 minutes, and your temperature you want your Kydex at, your standard 0.080 Kydex, you're going to want somewhere in the neighborhood of 370 to 375 degrees. Much hotter than that, then you start to run the risk of maybe scorching it. You can kind of push 380 sometimes, but get yourself one of these. This is a thermostat or a thermometer, infrared thermometer. That way you can actually shoot your Kydex when it's hot and find out exactly what you're running at, and then compare that to what your thermostat on your heat press is saying. All right, and simple as that, we have our shell. Now I'm going back and drilled out the holes and going ahead and deburred it. For the holes, we use a 7/32 drill bit. That is what most closely lines up with our hardware, like these little slotted posts here that we use for retention. And then I use a deburring countersink right here, and just stick that in the holes and knock off any extra, gives it a nice cleaner edge. But next step, we are going to move over to the bandsaw and get the rough shape of this thing cut out. All right, now like I've done in the past, I'm going to flip this thing on. It makes a bunch of crazy noise, so I will get some music on for y'all in the background, speed this stuff up, and we will get to the next step. All right, there you go. Now we have our rough shape cut, and it is time to fold it. So I'll see you guys over at our folding table. All right, so here we are at the ink strip. Take our shell here, set it on there, and wait for it to bend. All right, now once the sides touch down here like it is now, I usually give it a couple of flips back and forth, just make sure that sight channel is soft. And then we will flip her over, throw in our molding drum, clamp her down. And then from here, just want to make sure that the sight channel is straight. Make sure that either side of the light bezel is squared up. That's usually a good indicator that we are good to go. Now we're just gonna stick her underneath of the fan and let her cool. Once it's cooled down, we'll move you back over to the mock-up table and we'll go to the next step. All right, here we are at the mock-up table. Here's our shell. Here's that same drone we just used, and all I'm gonna do is line this up over top of the holster here, kind of mark our outlines, mark clearance where we want our trigger guard to go, somewhere in there. And then, if I'm not mistaken, this is meant for the compact version, which means that it'll be basically flush fit with the front of the TLR7. So we can just come straight across here. And then I use the mod wing kind of as a guide for how to go around these retention screws here. Somewhere about there. All we're basically doing here is getting ourselves a rough outline to follow so that when we go back over to the bandsaw, we can get a bunch of the material removed, and then we'll go back with the Dremel to kind of finish things out. This is, for anybody asking, is just a standard marking pencil. I think all the wording is worn off of it, but like a fabric marking pencil is all I use here. Because it is not permanent, I can mark what I need to on here, but then just as simply wipe it all back off after I'm done, just in case I get a little too close there. So anyway, there's how that's going to look. Now we'll go back over to the bandsaw and cut out our shape. Alright, so simple as that. We now have our final shape. I'm now going to move over to the other tools behind me. We're going to get the sides sanded flat, Dremel out any extra areas that we need to Dremel out, and then give the whole thing a buff. So I will just play some music in the background and let you all watch through that, and then we'll be back over at the assembly table and throw the screws to it. Here we are down to our last step. We are sanded, we are buffed, all of our clearances are good. Check to make sure we have clearance around the trigger guard here and that things are not going to cut us and get in the way. And now we are going to throw some screws in this thing. So for this setup, we're going to use a couple of these slotted posts. Those go in here. Oops. And then a couple of 1/4 inch washers, rubber washers. There we go, those are in place. Next is a couple of our finish washers go up here on top. And then lastly, a couple of screws. Get those started. Check your tension here. Pretty good. Yep. All right. One last thing to do is add the brand. So I'll move you over to where we have that set up. We'll get a brand on it, and then we will come back over here for a second. All right, now over to branding. So this is just a standard little hot plate you can get pretty much anywhere. And then this is a custom-made wooden branding iron. If you can get it to focus here, you can see our logo in there. So heat this thing up. Just place it gently on our Kydex here. Wiggle it around some. And boom, you can see our logo is now embossed into the Kydex. Pretty cool. All right, back over to the forming table. And there you have it, folks. There is a Ghost EDC bag holster for our Springfield Echelon Compact and Streamlight TLR 7A, 7X, whichever one you got. So this customer ordered his to not have me go ahead and attach the Velcro, but he ordered 2 strips of hook Velcro. So these will go in the bag along with his holster and all of his other stuff, his goodies, and get sent out to him today. So thanks for sticking around. Appreciate you all tuning in. Thank you for the subscriptions and the likes and supporting our channel. If you're not subscribed, please definitely do so and shoot us a like out there so this video gets out. Fight through all the YouTube algorithm to get our content seen. And hope you all liked the more low-key content today, a little quick holster build, and try to crank out a few more of these in the future. Talk to you soon. God bless.